Hey everybody, welcome back to the Bourbon Note. I'm Greg.
I'm Ben.
And today, we're drinking a really good bourbon. All right, Ben, you like this bourbon, I like this bourbon. Most of the people watching like this bourbon.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be the easiest review I've ever heard of.
It is. Bam. So this is Weller of the famed Weller line, Antique107. This is allocated one. I think most people that are into bourbon know that.
We should probably explain for the newbies.
Yeah, so allocated stuff is the rare stuff that gets, there's a limited amount that goes to each state. And it's from Buffalo Trace, so it falls into that Buffalo Trace
It's
distillery, hard to find. Super high prices on the secondary that are definitely not worth it. And a lot of times, allocated stuff gets overhyped. We've talked about that in other videos.
Yes.
This one, well, as you can see, I'm partway through the bottle here, and that's why I want to do the review, because I don't know how long I'm going to
It may not.
keep this on the shelf. You can only keep
Yeah.
them, for so long before you just gotta enjoy them.
Yep.
But it is very hard to find. I just happened to luckily get this at retail price, which is $50. I think that's about retail. That's what I paid for it.
Okay.
I would pay more than that for this,
I would agree.
just because it is so rare and it is something that I do like. Now, a couple $100 on the secondary definitely would not do that.
There's probably nothing that's worth that.
Yeah.
But this one scored first place in a blind flight for me. And it's noticeably good. It really is for me.
Yeah, this doesn't fall into that category of overly hyped as far as the flavor goes. At least as far as I'm concerned, it doesn't.
Yeah, I don't think so. A couple of details. It's obviously 107 proof. We don't know the age statement, but it's definitely a lot more than 4. It's got a really nice dark color.
Yeah, it has a very nice dark color to it.
Probably a pretty heavy char.
It's from the famed Buffalo Trace Mash Bill 3, which is the Pappy Van Winkle is from that same mash bill. Now that doesn't make this
Baby Pappy Van Winkle.
Yeah, and we said that in the Special Reserve video, because the Weller Special Reserve is a budget, should be $25, but
yeah.
But it's still, it's their weeded mash bill, so it does kind of ride those coattails a little bit. The whole Weller line does.
Definitely.
So, oh God, it's just got such a nice, rich.
It smells heavy.
Yeah, it really does.
It smells dense, and there's a lot going on. It smells oily in a good way, like there's a lot of flavor, but it's kind of wrapped up in an oily denseness. And there's no way that it's not gonna have a lot of flavor when you get that much on the nose.
I really get like a nice vanilla, but then I get like a kind of a really sweet sort of red fruit, like cherry, strawberry sort of, but almost in like a candy sort of way, or like a frosting, like a strawberry or a cherry frosting. Valentine's Day when they have the cookies out, they have the pink frosting on them. Or like Dunkin' Donuts has the pink frosting.
What's Valentine's Day?
Oh, jeez. Greg, do I have to call Leah up and just say, listen, I'm working with him. I'm trying here. No, but you ever have that, like the Dunkin' Donuts with like the pink frosting on it? It's either strawberry or cherry, but they're my favorite.
I know
Dunkin'.
Pop-Tarts that have pink frosting. You're anti Pop-Tart.
I'm debating on whether or not I should go down the Pop-Tart road.
No,
let's stick to the bourbon here.
Let's leave it alone.
Get very controversial very quick.
Notice to viewers at home, I think we did a Pop-Tart like tangent that went long.
Oh.
But that may have been a video that like was damaged or lost or something.
Didn't
I don't
make
think
the
it
cut.
made it to the
You're
YouTube.
welcome.
Yeah.
All right, let's go in for the
Okay.
taste here before we get to.
All right. Still smells great.
Yes.
All right, here we go.
Yeah.
It's hard to justify buying any other bourbon at $50. I gotta be honest.
Yeah, this is one of those ones where if this was available all the time at that price point, I would probably always have a bottle. I say that, but there's plenty that I always want to have a bottle of, but I drink it down and then I buy 6 other bottles, and eventually, you got to mind the bank account as well. But This I would put in that category of, again, if it was readily available, like rare breed for the price point. It's a no-brainer. Prohibition style, Old Forester Prohibition style. 1792 full proof. You know, all of those.
Knob Creek 12-year.
Yeah.
Yep.
Or Knob Creek single barrel.
Sure.
You know, all of those that are just like, they're such a good...
Punching above their price point.
Yeah. This one at $50 I think is just...
It is so amazing. It's really dark and really dense, like I was saying on the nose. It's almost cherry notes.
Yeah.
Almost a coffee note as well.
Really?
Yeah. There's caramel. There's spicy, kind of full, nutmeggy spice.
It just has something different about it too. It's got a sweetness that's really in its own kind of...
Yeah, it's not a
lane.
corn sweetness. It's definitely not like cotton candy.
It's just really rich overall with just kind of every sweet note you would want to get out of a bourbon. That vanilla and cherry really stick out, but again, it's like that, like a cherry frosting or something like that. It's just got a very desserty sort of vibe to me.
Yeah.
But then there's some caramel and there's really some brown sugar in there too, for sure.
Definitely.
So I think this one, it's hard to say whether or not an allocated one like this lives up to its reputation because their reputations get so blown out of proportion. Like I said, people are paying $300 for this. Yeah. It's not a $300 bourbon. But this is a very, very good bourbon. So if you can get a chance to get one of these
I just
at
saw
a reasonable
a post
price
on Instagram that this is on the shelves all over right now in Ohio. So if you're in Ohio, grab it.
As of, what is it, November 16th today?
2021.
Yeah.
Yep. But this also falls into the category, if you're at a nice restaurant and they have a bourbon list, pay $25 for a pour. Yeah, it's overpriced, but then you at least know what it's like, or I don't know.
Yeah, if you haven't had a chance to have it. And that's the unfortunate thing with stuff like this, it gets so out of proportion. It's not just that people get ripped off on it, it's that it just bars so many people from ever getting to try it.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the unfortunate part. If you get some bars are gonna charge a lot for it because it's rare. Sometimes you may find a bar that doesn't charge based on rarity, they charge based on what they pay for it. I know it's not
super
common thing, but they do exist. But yeah, even in that, $20 a pour or something like that, or 25 like you said. If this is something you haven't had and you've always wanted to try it, this is worth paying a little bit extra
for a pour.
For a pour, or for a bottle. I don't know how much I'd pay, but I would pay a little bit over retail for this for sure, just because it's so hard to find and I do like it so much. I
agree.
But at that point, I'm not paying for the hype of having a Weller on my shelf. I'm paying because I genuinely want to drink it. You know what I mean?
So you're saying maybe it's underpriced at $50? And for me, I think the answer is yes.
Do you? I don't know if it's underpriced when you compare it with other stuff that's, $50 will get you the Wild Turkey Rare Breed.
Yeah.
And some change,
The reality is,
full proof.
There's a ton of good bourbons.
Yeah.
Like if this bourbon did not exist in the world, I'd be okay. I like it, I love it, but there's a ton of stuff in the 50 to, whatever price point you want to say. There's tons of really good bourbon available, which is a great time to be alive.
I will say this, as far as just the flavor profile, this is really something I would like to drink a lot, like all the time. Like I've kind of got my go-tos that are my favorite ones, This, if it was readily available, would be in that category for sure.
So I really like wheat whiskeys in general, but I do find that Weller wheat whiskeys are significantly different than Maker's Mark wheat whiskeys.
And Maker's Mark is kind of different than all the other ones.
Exactly.
They all have their own lane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wheat whiskey is a little bit maybe hard to do, I've heard, and so they all are slightly different. But I really, really, really like this one. And I've had some other Wellers that, this one's, in my mind, the top Weller.
Yeah. I've only had this in the Special Reserve. The Special Reserve is kind of meh.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's a $20, $25 budget bourbon that got overhyped. Now, I think when we did the review of that, I've had it a little bit more since then. And I kind of liked it a little bit more the second few times I had it. And I had it before we did the review, but...
Yeah.
And I didn't hate it in the review. I just kind of thought it was...
It's budgety.
Yeah, and I don't like it as much as I like just regular Maker's Mark, to be perfectly honest.
Sure.
But this I really, really genuinely like. So I know it's unfortunate that it's hard to get your hands on it, and maybe that'll change someday, but yeah, if you see this, and I know I say this in tons of our videos, but for sure, if you see this for 50 bucks, do not pass that up.
MSRP kind of range, definitely.
Yeah. And then
It's
you
worth
just
trying.
decide beyond that how much you're willing to pay for it. I hope you're not paying a couple $100 for it.
Exactly.
Because, you know, for that same couple $100, you could go buy a whole bunch of different bottles that are all really, really good. All the ones we named in this video.
Agreed.
So, anyway, well, this has been Weller Antique 107 on the Bourbon Note. I'm Ben.
I'm Greg. Cheers.